Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shrinivari Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I wish to present my profound bereavement on this time of the passing of the great disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who lifted all of us. And knowingly or unknowingly, we were pulled by the force of Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj's devotion to Srila Prabhupada. And hearing Bali Mardan, your recount of the accomplishments of Mahārāja, I was struck because there's a way in which we don't know what we've got till it's gone. And we may go on appreciating as much as possible the association that we have now. But when a great soul leaves the world, as has His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, a light comes on remarkably, because although they are the light for which many can see a path to follow, when that light apparently goes out, another kind of light comes on, and this is called the Tirobhava. The light of Gopal Krishna Maharaj's personal presence was palpable in his enthusiasm to follow Srila Prabhupada's orders, and he was a joyful and exemplary devotee. He was friendly and encouraging. And now celebrating his disappearance, although if someone's not aware of the context, one may say, why are you celebrating someone's disappearance? We will answer that. We know that Vaisnavas, who are liberated souls engaged in the Sankirtan movement, are not ordinary, and therefore they go on to perform their services elsewhere. What's more, we celebrate the life of such a person and recognize after their departure many of the details of it. We're a family, a society, but more of a family all over the world. And we all grieve in our own ways because we have relationships with God brothers and sisters, and also with our elders, our spiritual masters. But we all grieve. There is purification in that grieving process. And there's also an inspiration. And this is to see if we can also take up the same kind of service. When a devotee among us performs service that is so voluminous that we become almost in awe. Well, we are in awe, but then we may question, how could I do that? Then we can remember that it's from the submissive attitude of the follower to carry on the mission of the spiritual master. And His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj methodically carried out the orders of his Guru Mahārāja and the results speak for themselves. My feeling is a feeling of bereavement and almost a sense of wanting to hold on to my other God brothers and sisters because we feel such a profound loss, and the light of Tirobhav comes on and we think how valuable are our God siblings and everybody else in our spiritual family together. In a very practical way, and Mahārāja was very practical. That means spiritual practice, the last verse of Prahlāda Mahārāja's prayers. In it, Prahlāda Mahārāja says, all this study of Vedic knowledge, I'm not interested. He said, I'm interested in practical service. Paradoxically, if one is interested in practical service, then Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janaya Yashuvairagyam Gyanam Chayat Haitukam. There's a way in which all Vedic knowledge comes to that person naturally, springs forth. My personal dedication to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, as I will, Krishna willing, to my last breath, carry on the same enthusiasm he had for distributing Śrīla Prabhupāda's books, that he wanted to constantly increase the numbers, because Śrīla Prabhupada had told him that, and he told all of us. And Mahārāja was one of the rare souls who took that up heart and soul, maybe more than anybody. I wrote in my offering more than anybody, and somebody edited it and said, maybe that it was among the best, but I think it is the best. So I dedicate myself now on this day, since we have a special day, to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, to follow in his footsteps in the way that he unceasingly went on serving Śrīla Prabhupada in his various ways, the way I'll feel connected to Mahārāja in this lifetime, and hopefully many more to come, is to try to catch up his mood of expanding book distribution. And I think we could think of a number of temples to open also. And I've also been inspired by his deity worship. Just seeing the pictures of him worshiping the deity and knowing how dedicated he was, I think of how Kaviraj Goswami describes the service of Raghunath Das Goswami as lines written in stone. That'll work. If one just takes the simple path and is very strict about it, one will have complete success. We're so lucky to see one devotee who has dedicated his life to the simple path, but followed it perhaps more strictly than anyone else, and has attained complete success in this lifetime, as an example, to know that we can go on following the simple path as he has done, and also achieve perfection. In conclusion, I keep in my heart always the personal interactions I had with Mahārāja that were so sweet and loving that I'll never forget them. The times he would stop by at Govardhan on his parikram to see Keshav Bharati Maharaj in his room, then he'd come all the way over to my room, and even though I'd be doing my puja in there, and then the door would open, and Mahārāja would bound in the door along with maybe 500 other devotees. And he'd have this energy from having completed half the parikram with all his devotees. And another time, him taking my hand in front of the MVT when I was in great anxiety about something that happened here at ISV, and it was on my mind deeply, and he just held my hand. I didn't need anything else but that. It gave me courage. So I pray on this day that I'll always remember the sweetness of his association, the powerful simplicity that he exhibited in his service to Śrīla Prabhupada, unswerving to the last second, and his devout dedication to distribution of books. I'll remember those qualities in Mahārāja and dedicate my life to following in his footsteps, and I'll be inspired by him at every step. I pray that all his disciples and followers may take solace that they had a true representative of the spiritual world, and that he set an example that one could actually follow in this world to attain success. Om Tat Sat. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So I think there are a lot of devotees that please can you move? We have empty spaces. And in the meantime, I would like to request Mother Nirākulā, please. So followed by Vijay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Panchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I think that, as Indradyumna Swami Mahārāja said, the greatest medal of honor someone can be awarded is to be a Prabhupada man or Prabhupada woman. You'll see it won't just be limited to the generation of Śrīla Prabhupada's disciples. All of you who follow in Prabhupada's footsteps are Prabhupada men and women. And we have many of you here. And I'm so proud of you all. Gopal Krishna Mahārāja, to me, exhibited so much affection. Not to me personally, I didn't have much association with him, but if I was with my husband or I was with someone he knew, he was always very affectionate, very present when he talked to the devotees, and always enthusiastic. Most of us, as Kanka mentioned, remember him as doing arti to Krishna Balaram. It's a memory that we'll always cherish. Then we saw that video of Gopal Krishna Mahārāja in his sleep, obviously offering arti, going like this and like this. It's truly, truly amazing to be absorbed like that. We can all follow, hopefully, by his example. A memory that keeps coming to my mind and my mind's eye is when we would be in Mayapur, Mahārāja would go for a walk with his disciples, and he'd walk from the temple out towards the Goshal. Anybody ever see him with his rainbow sneakers? I loved that about Mahārāja. You know, it just showed that side of him, that he could have fun. He had fun in Krishna consciousness. And he also, that example of taking an instruction from the spiritual master and making that your life's work. He, just as Śrīla Prabhupada did, Śrīla Gopal Krishna Goswami did that. And if we have been fortunate enough to get a direct instruction from our guru, that's great. But if there are the general instructions that we all know we can follow, or we can follow someone who has been given a general at personal instruction, as all of the disciples of Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj can do. He was a big proponent of book distribution, a big proponent of deity worship, and he knew how to preach to the politicians, to the kings, to the queens, to the sweeper in the street. Maharaj could cover everyone and make them feel loved and accepted and hopeful. I just looked at Hansa Priya. I shouldn't have done that. When the spiritual master leaves this world, it's a very trying time. It can be a very chaotic time, and it can be a very emotional time. If you are feeling that grief, if you are fortunate enough to feel that sadness, go with it. Feel it. Devote yourself to that and let yourself feel that grief, because it's a gift. It's a gift to miss the presence of a pure devotee. And we, Prabhupada disciples, and some of you who have lost your Guru Maharajas, we can understand that grief. And everyone will grieve in their own way. There may be tears, there may not be tears. The grief may go on for years. The grief may go on, the palpable grief may go on for a short time. But whatever it is, everyone grieves in their own way. And we hopefully can support each other in that grief, empower each other, and help the junior disciples of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and his senior disciples can help the junior disciples during this time and always going forward. It's all of our time to take up the mantle, to become more serious about our Krishna consciousness, and to follow the instruction of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara. And I would just like to offer my most sincere and heartfelt condolences to Maharaj's disciples, to those of you who had a personal relationship with him, who you may have felt like he was your father, he was your father, or you may have had a friendly relationship, or you may have had more formal guru-disciple relationship. Whatever that relationship is, it's to be honored and respected. And however I may serve you going forward, please allow me to do that. All glories to Gopal Krishna Goswami. Hare Krishna.